Please don't forget to subscribe for more awesome vegan content. Hello vegan food explorers, it has been a crazy few days because we left Athens, which you can see here in rush hour morning, to head out to a little town called Meteora in the north of Greece. So we got our vegan coffees with our vegan almond milk to go, which was absolutely awesome, and then hopped on a train for about 4 hours north. It was crazy how the landscape changed. It definitely got away from the city. But the place we're going to is absolutely famous because it's got these massive, massive rocks. So I was super scared that there was going to be no vegan options whatsoever. However, we couldn't have been more wrong. It was like a vegan hotbed. And it was a kind of a semi-big town, but they had some of the most amazing vegan food over the last 2 days. So this is a place called Valia Calda, which is the first place that we saw when getting off the train. It looks really traditional on the side of kind of the main road with these little parasols, lovely weather. But they had this amazing menu where they had half of it was from the valley and half of it was from the mountain. And they had all of these vegan options. You can see they're labeled vegan. So walnut balls, or it's called walnut balls. Then they had sauteed mushrooms, shepherd's salad, loads and loads of options. Where are these mains as well? They had giant beans, stuffed vine leaves, stuffed tomatoes and green peppers, which are all vegan, and they actually say vegan on them, which was amazing. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. And we just found this on Google. We just searched again for vegan lunch, and this place came up. You would never think it. It was kind of just off the outskirts of the main town where we're staying. So we kicked it off with these sauteed mushrooms, and it turns out this area is really famous in Greece for its mushrooms. They were amazing. There was a whole mix of mushrooms in there. Some of them really tender and soft, and others really, really meaty. You can kind of see the long ones and the short, fat ones. They were so delicious. And I think they cooked them in this really delicious olive oil because it was so thick, juicy, rich, but they were honestly so succulent. But yeah, the place here is really famous for mushrooms, Meteora. So you'll see I've got some things to share later on in this video to come. So our second starter with these walnut balls, and I was really taken aback by these. I wasn't sure what they were going to look like, but in the end they looked like this, and they were awesome. They kind of look a little bit like falafel. Oh, there's our little feline friend, he was probably hoping we were not eating vegan, to be honest, but these balls were they were this mushed together walnuts, and then they were on this paste as well. And we slice them in half, and because they were the walnuts, so you've got that fatty content, but they're really smooth, and when you bit into them, they're amazing. So here is the stuffed peppers, and these were just amazing, actually, really, really cooked really to perfection, basically. So they almost burst open. You can see here, and then those giant potatoes as well. You'd never believe that this was all being served in kind of this restaurant as you walk past these incredible vegan food. Absolutely stunning. And again, olive oil, I think that's got to be the go-to in Greece. But then this is what I had, they're called giant beans, and they're in kind of a tomatoey, herby sauce. But these beans, they were butter beans, I assume, but you got a whole plate of them. I've never eaten a whole plate of butter beans, but I'm definitely going to look for recipes again. It was absolutely awesome, and the sauce was delicious. And yeah, having a whole meal of beans was great. And then, of course, washed down with some delicious Greek beer. What could be better? And then, because we were the only people there at that time, it was a little bit early because we just got off our train. We got these little rice puddings as well, which were just so delicious. We got them for free from the chef. He came out, waiter, and he came out and said, "We got these just for you." And they had these little sprinklings. I think it's cinnamon on top, but they're so sweet. You can see here it was almost like congealed, but really, really creamy. Honestly, one of the most creamy desserts I think I've ever had in my life. It was so good, just delicious, really. So yeah, here are the rocks that is always in the background of where we were staying, and yeah, it was just amazing, kind of just feeling like on a different planet. So after lunch, we went for a little walk around. and just exploring really, because basically there's these monasteries up in the rocks, absolutely stunning. So definitely Google it, Meteora, Greece, you won't regret it. Dinner, what did we have for dinner? So we went to a place called Gyros, and they literally had this sign, you can see there if my camera ever slows down, vegan on the side, and they had these massive pamphlets which were mega meatless nuggets, which I think is their brand, kind of in Greece, of mega meatless. Looks awesome. So Gyros, they have this menu, but then on the back page, this is all vegan. It says, there you go vegan. You can have vegan pitta, you can have different vegan burgers. Then they got vegan, what they call vegan portions, which was a bit confusing, but that basically means not in pita bread, but so with chips and vegetables. And yeah, honestly, it was like a little, what you'd call in England like a kebab shop, I guess, but authentic. So here's the pitta. This is gyros and pitta, and you get lettuce, chips, and then your gyros, which is basically like a sort of kebab, and then vegan mayonnaise with some tomatoes as well. And look at these bits of kebab. They were just insane. I don't know what they're made out of. Probably soya protein, I think, because they tasted like that. They tasted super meaty, like incredibly meaty. And then, of course, they had all their different herbs, which make it taste like the famous gyros, which, yeah, is a sort of kebab in Greece. And this was awesome. Look at it. And the pita bread, of course, it was absolutely delicious, as you would expect from being in Greece. And yeah, we just couldn't believe it, to be honest. Slap bang in the middle of this street, you see this massive sign saying vegan. And again, we found this on Happy Cow, but I actually found it through Google Maps. Again, just typing in vegan lunch or vegan dinner, and it popped up. Day 2, so we spent the night here. We started off, we had coffee, and then we had these weird little kind of like hard toast things that were in our Airbnb, and then paired with some jam. They had loads of different jams, which was really, really nice. It was a bit cloudy today, so we just wanted to chill, drink some coffee, look at kind of the nature, I guess, because we had a walk booked with an experience in the afternoon. So we just wanted to take it easy and not have anything too heavy. So that's when I Googled smoothies, and we found this place called Mama Juice, which was down the road. And they're this huge, right in the centre, this huge array of fruit that they were obviously making all their smoothies from. So here you can have smoothies, juices, everything. You can always have crepes, actually, which I didn't realise, but we were there for a smoothie. We just wanted that kind of like when we're travelling, make sure we're topped up with all the different vitamins, because sometimes, I mean, let's face it, if you're eating gyros every day, you're probably not getting your 5 a day. So we just wanted to top up, and they can be so delicious, especially when they're made with proper, I guess hopefully local fruit and veg, or just full of loads of different fruit. So we love this, and they actually obviously used it from here. So they're getting their oranges, bananas, and picking them up and then blending them in here. And there was all sorts. They had different juices. So this one had cocoa in, and avocado as well, I think, to make it really creamy. So it was very, very sweet, and yeah, super creamy. Then mine, I just wanted juice. So mine had lime, lemons, I think it had some pineapple in, and then also it had grapefruit, which the grapefruit with the lime made it so that it was like really hard to drink, actually. The ones we had the other day, if you check back on the first vlog, I think were nicer, but this one was still just great, actually, just to walk down the street drinking. And it's amazing that you can get these sort of things, these kind of smoothie bars. I just don't think you really get them in many towns in the UK, a whole place just for smoothies. I think that's pretty rare. So then for lunch, we went back to the Gyros house and expanded. We just had to have these chicken nuggets, these vegan chicken nuggets, of course. And I've got to say, they were one of the best chicken nuggets I've ever had. Can you believe that chicken? Look at that in there. It looks like the most perfect chicken nugget I've ever seen in my life. And I've got to say, it tasted it that way as well. The breadcrumb was light, but still quite thick, actually. You still had that crunch, but it wasn't overwhelming. There was definitely more kind of vegan meat than the coating. Then I finally had, instead of having it in the pitta, I had it loose, and this was the gyros. So you get the gyros, you get the mayonnaise, you get the chips. Oh, we had more chips beneath these chicken nuggets, which was a bit too much, but yeah, my other half had the sausage in the pita bread, which was, it was super. It wasn't like your British sausage. It was your really spicy, kind of full of flavour sausage, which was a lot because it also had some mustard in it, which made it pretty overpowering, to be honest. But yeah, definitely recommend this. This is a place called Gyros House. Yeah, and you can see why they're definitely famous for their gyros. So this town, being very relevant for vegans, is famous for, you probably guessed it already, mushrooms. And they have a natural history museum and a mushroom museum bolted onto the end of it. And we couldn't turn that down as vegans. We had to go out and support. So we went in here, and it was one of the most strange and crazy little museums I think I've ever been to. And it had all the different sorts of local mushrooms that you can find. And they also marked them, if you can see here, which ones are toxic, which are non-toxic. And it was really interesting. And I'll be honest, why I'm including it, obviously had these kind of funny, this one was called phallus mushroom. But I just couldn't believe it, to be honest. It really opened my eyes of how many different sorts of mushrooms there are in the world. And I think I definitely have got into a rut with my mushrooms of just having my Sainsburys chestnut mushrooms. But there's so many different sorts of mushroom. This one, for example, we had just a really savoury one. And then they had a sweet one. I think it was mixed with maple syrup. And it just blew our mind, to be honest. So when I go back to UK, we bought some of the mushrooms from the little gift shop. We had to. But definitely going to investigate it, because some of these mushrooms are super high in protein and they're delicious. And having those mushrooms in the restaurant before definitely opened my eyes, really. And I think just looking into your veg a little bit more, definitely been inspired to do that on this holiday, and really investigate the different sorts of the vegetable that I'm eating. So instead of just going, I'm going to have a stir fry with this mushroom, but actually just looking into it of going, oh, I'm actually going to have this sort of different mushroom. So then in the afternoon, we did this incredible experience with an Airbnb guide, and he took us up into the mountains basically and showed us all the monasteries and things like that. But it turned out that he is a vegan, and he's a massive vegan in the Greek community. He organised one of the largest Greek vegan events, and in the end we came up to this real high point, and he served us up some organic bananas, apples and walnuts, and these vegan little treat, these biscuits. So the ones on the right are sweet and the ones on the left are savoury and salty. And we were just sitting there and we're like, we can't believe this. We've come to literally vegan paradise. We had all this organic food, this vegan food, and a view like this. I mean, what could possibly be better than that? Honestly, it was just insane. Here you can kind of see the monasteries in the distance. So we had all of that on view. And then he recommended again that we go back to the Valia Calda because there were dishes we hadn't had. So this is the shepherd's salad, which again, you guessed it by now, it had mushrooms in, had a bit of couscous on the top, then it had lettuce, tomatoes, things like that. But these mushrooms, they were kind of the stems of it, and they were so meaty. Honestly, it was amazing. It was super thick, spongy, delicious. And then we had again the sautéed mushrooms. As you can tell, there's a bit of a theme about being in Meteora. We've eaten a ton of our mushrooms, but even these were different. I would say there was much less oil in these. And I would say there were more of the longer mushrooms in here, which was really, really cool. Wow, I never thought I'd be doing a vlog about mushrooms, but there it is. They've changed my life, I think. And then, of course, I had to have the gigantic beans. And then these are the stuffed vine leaves with a vegan sort of cream sauce over the top. A very, very traditional Greek meal here. And you can see it served with this salad on the side. But yeah, that's it for today. We're back in Athens tomorrow to finish it off. So I'll try and find some more vegan food. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.